Hello, my name is Taylor Flaherty, and on behalf of all of us, I would like to welcome you to our presentation. Transgender and gender variant individuals, abbreviated as TGV or TGVI, are those who do not identify with the gender they were assigned at birth. This population is at disproportionate risk of lethal violence due to the systemic, social, political, and economic marginalization they face not only in America, but around the world. Most medical legal death records and databases do not include a space to indicate gender identity and often relies solely on external genitalia. This generates an increased risk of TGV decedents being misgendered or dead-named, receiving inadequate postmortem care, being inaccurately identified, or remaining unidentified. These methodological flaws continue to feed the cycle of violence, marginalization, and victimization experienced by this community. Despite complications in tracking deaths of TGVI, the Transgender Day of Remembrance, or TDOR, has created a database that offers extensive insight into systemic and interpersonal violence, lethal risks, and forensic methodologies. To highlight the epidemic of violence faced by this community and the current flaws in reporting TGV deaths, we have used the results of the TDOR database to exhibit key circumstances surrounding documented TGV deaths. During analysis, 4,473 decedents from 75 countries were within the database. It is crucial to note that these values likely underrepresent the actual number of TGV deaths due to the lack of visibility and absence of standardized protocols for tracking data. However, this is one of the most comprehensive databases available. For victims whose age was known, many died between the ages of 20 and 30, with most dying before 50. Brazil, the US, and Mexico have the highest reported number of TGV deaths. While this may indicate an increased risk for TGVI in these countries, it may also suggest that decedents are not as well documented or acknowledged as being TGVI. Additionally, data collection was subject to whether a report or social media post was generated. Thus, absence of evidence is not evidence of absence in cases where no data was reported. Legal authorities were only involved in 3% of the documented cases, a rate that is shockingly low considering 84% of these deaths stemmed from interpersonal violence. While this may suggest that more attentive legal authority is necessary in these cases, it is crucial to remember the long-standing distrust that the TGV community holds with law enforcement due to their continued re-victimization. Further research is also needed to determine if this value differs significantly to legal involvement with non-TGV decedents. Data also showed that 25.7% of cases were solved while 1.5 remain unsolved, but little can be inferred from this as no data exist for about 73% of cases. It was also found that it was unknown whether postmortem analysis was conducted for 86% of cases. This further underlines the need for continued evidence collection and research in order to fully understand this issue. It was also key to analyze the language being used to discuss decedents and their forensic cases on social media, in medical legal reports, in the news, and by their loved ones. Language was noted as positive when it was memorializing decedents with proper names, pronouns, or their contributions to society. Neutral language was factual-based, concrete information. Negative language included misgendering or misnaming the decedent, focusing on the assailant more than the victim, stigmatization, and additional descriptors of violence. Somewhat encouragingly, neutral language was used in 70% of cases. However, positive and negative language were used in 3% and 17% of cases, respectively. We urge forensic analysts to remain cognizant of the harm inflicted on TGVI and actively advocate for enhanced postmortem care. While this is by no means an exhaustive list, we have offered key recommendations for actions that can be taken by the forensics community to address the harm being done. The goal of these recommendations is to create informed, intentional postmortem care that will ensure respect is given to TGV decedents. It is pivotal that forensic scientists actively advocate for change in our field in order to reform our methodologies to be inclusive, accurate, and better prepared for treating decedents in the future. To end this presentation, we encourage you to scan the QR code on our poster. Here, you can find the contact information for all presenters, our references, larger versions of our figures, and links to sources such as TDOR. Thank you again for coming to our presentation. We look forward to future discussions, collaborations, and building an equitable forensics community.